Not sure how familiar everyone is with the projections calculator or who's using it. But basically I use it. It's an all-in-one projections tool. It can measure anything from cost gain, average daily gain, and various other metrics that uses your historic data to come up with just an average basically. So if I open up calculator here, so if I just select a random lot, then I can go here. Chris, do we have actual lots here or no? Oh, okay. Well, I can kind of explain it this way then. So basically, you can make this as generic or as focused as you want, pretty much. So we can look at cattle based on in date, in weight, outweight, and various like different classes of cattle. So if I want to look at calves versus yearlings, or if I want to look at it on a per feedlot basis, because maybe we feed different classes of cattle at various places, you can do it that way. And so once I would have my lot selected here, I would hit the recalculate projection values, and then it would pull my historic data, or your historic data if you're working through the scenario here, and it would give you your averages for all those kind of classes of cattle that you fed at your place over the past years. I know this is a new tool. It's been out for, I don't know, year and a half, but this goes back to as long as you've been using Fusion. It's been capturing all this data for you. So yeah, once I have this and everything kind of looks how it should to me, you can go in and you can adjust your cost of gain, and then it will then give you your purchase sales break even, and then as well as profit loss and days on feed. Another important thing when you're using this tool, you can override any of these values. Like some people would use an outside cost of gain calculator or other outside tools. You're free to use them here, and you can simply override any one of these values to enter a more appropriate number. So if you're new to this and have not had much exposure to this calculator, I would recommend that ensure you're pulling from a big enough data pool. So like once you have your lot selected, it would then tell you down here how many lots it is averaging. So you just want to make sure that you're pulling it not just from a lot or two, but make sure you have a nice broad average, I guess, to ensure that you're getting accurate historical data. So, yeah, you bet. So yeah, this is kind of what it would look like, and you can go through, and like I said, you can make it as broad or as narrow as you want it to be. And what I mean by that is you can change on cattle type here, your in weight. So if we're feeding an 8-weight steer, I can go from 8 to 900 pounds, and then where you see the 0 lots match this criteria, what I basically would do is just make sure that I'm pulling from 5, 10, 15 lots of cattle, so I'm getting a true average of cattle that we've fed in the past, basically. Then, oh yeah, one thing I forget to do occasionally, make sure once you have everything in, you're going to want to go down here, save it, and then you're going to want to hit your update lot slaughter date. So when I do that, then it would change my target date here. So then I would have a true target date and hopefully a slaughter date or an estimated slaughter date, in essence, is what I'm after. I like this calculator because it's got me away from pen and paper, and it saves all the data in one spot, which is really nice. And then if you're ever wondering like what you use for cost to gain or what you've based any of your math off of, it's really simple. Just go back to the projections tab here, and then it will show you whatever you saved last. So that's really nice too. You're not second guessing on what you used for cost to gain, because when you open it up, it'll say it all right there. So I like it for that way. And yeah, we use it on every lot of cattle comes in. Then in about 2-3 minutes of work, I have kind of a rough out for each lot. And then if I want to go print a marketing report or anything like that, then at least when the cattle come in, you have that data straight away. So that's kind of how we've been using it. I'm not sure how other people have been using it. I would imagine kind of the same way.
How many people here are currently using the projections calculator? Is there anybody else? Yeah, so this is very new, very fresh to everybody. Yeah, so
yeah, and that's the other thing. Like it might look a little bit intimidating, but I can tell you myself, it's really not. It doesn't take a whole lot to learn, and it takes the guesswork out of it for you, because it's pulling your historic data. So if you know that you have a specific group of cattle that's going to do better or worse than your historic average, you can just go back in and adjust your values as you kind of deem fit, I guess.
So could you just walk me through? I'll run the computer and you tell me what I'm supposed to be doing here.
Okay.
So if this were a brand new lot and it just came in.
Yeah.
So we know that this lot, they came in and they are.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to explain if you have actual. Yeah, here this would work.
Let's go. Okay, these guys have been in for 5 days. They're 1,000 pounders. Okay, so we have some steers here that are 1,000 pounds.
Okay.
That's what it says.
Mm-hmm. But you could clear out the old projections and we could start from scratch just for an example, I guess. Or here we go.
Here we've got some 1,260 pound, 60 pound heifers. So they came in. What's the first thing you want me to do? Is just open this projection calculator?
Yeah.
Okay. And then from there.
So now you're going to go make sure your dates are accurate there. So first in date, we want to make that match. So they would have came in between.
This is October and October data files. So
okay.
Change that to October.
Sure. There you go. That looks good. So as you see there, now it's got it down or up to 42 lots. So that's quite a bit to pull from. So that would give us a nice average. You can then go up to the in-weight class. Would they come in at? You said 1,000?
These are 1263. So
okay. Yeah, so between 12 and 13. So this is what I mean when we're going, so all of a sudden now we have 0 lots that match that criteria. So if we can broaden that out, there you go, now you got 3. Or if you have multiple locations, you could then go up to the location and you could click any. So then there it jumped our criteria up a bunch again. So
this number just moves in relation to what we're
yes, yeah, you bet. So there, you got a few. But so yeah, you just kind of play with it like that, and then you can click your update last source values once you're happy with how it looks. That's where it's pulling data from, is lots that look like this. So there's the information, so you can fill input values.
So this is these are the average last values or average values of the closeouts of all of those lots that we looked at in the previous screen.
That's right. So then when we Chris clicks on the fill input values from these values, so it's going to overlay this lot in comparison to anything that's been closed out historically. So if you click the bottom one, fill input values, there you go. So now it's taken the information from this lot and it's brought it down here for us. So now if we want to adjust it, so maybe we say we're going to get these cattle bigger than this, so if Chris wants to adjust that, maybe we're going to get them to 1475. They're heifers, so cost of gain, that's probably quite a bit too high, so maybe put it down to like 150 on feed.
So the reason why this jumped up so quick is because the average in weight for the group of cattle was 1,000 pounds, right around 1,050 pounds, and the lot specific information that we're looking at is 250 pounds heavier, or 220 pounds heavier. So that's obviously going to change your cost of gain and your break evens a little bit. So if we adjust that, we can kind of mimic that or just kind of cheat that a little bit by increasing our feed value. So this is going to be our true value. So we want to try and end up with our cost of gain and our break evens, our cost of gain for sure, right around this 71 cent mark.
Maybe we want to up it a little bit more, but
yeah.
So basically, this is where you can kind of plug and play to make it adjust your numbers till you're happy with them. So yeah, Chris can go ahead and quite a bit too high yet. You want to bring it down?
Is there any way that once you do this, you place that number and it's not actually pulled from the top anymore?
No, not really. Like what I've done is kind of pick a cost of gain for classes of cattle and kind of stick with it until I need to change it. I don't know if that really answers your question, but yeah, unfortunately that I know of, there's not a way for you to know if you've manually changed those numbers. So, because once we pulled that to the bottom there, then it's gonna give us all the days and break even and everything like that. So
this is a tough lot to look at too, because we're looking at 1,260.
Not a very good example, but
What if we put in 600-pound calves, like fall place calves? Would you have be more accurate?
yes, yeah, and probably the more lots you pull from, the more accurate it's going to be, right? So, that's one thing. If you do decide to use this feature, I guess that's one thing I would kind of caution is just make sure you're pulling from enough, and like a oddball group of cattle like this, probably not a very good example to use historic data from, right? So yeah.
So it's going to show you your historical cost of gain in there.
Yeah.
But the thing to remember, like your feed price can, of course, really vary your cost of gain. So Fusion has another spot where you can put a projected feed price in. So if you knew that all of your summer barley is going to average $150 a ton, you can project that barley price in there, and then it'll use that to calculate the cost of gain.
That's right.
So that gets you a lot closer. Either that, or it's going to use the latest feed price that you have in the system. So let's say your feed price currently is $200 a ton, but we knew it was going to grind its way down through the contract you had to now $150 a ton. Then you should put that in the projections for your feed price, and then it's calculated to pick that up more accurately by your cost.
Yeah. So
I see this as a big benefit, like for how it integrates with our software. This is where you get your defaults for your different classifications of cattle. So you go back into your historic data, put in all your feed conversions, and then it uses the current grain prices to show. Right, Ed?
Yeah, so this just gets stronger and stronger the more you use it, the more lots you have in your database. And then that lets you get more and more fine grain too. So, if you really want to hone in on a certain weight class or even a certain weight class of yearling or even a certain breed, you can specify that all. If you had enough data in there, you could really hone that down and you get this pretty accurate estimated cost of gains and estimated break even going forward.
Yeah, and like usually when we use it, we don't worry too much. Like the outweight class, we just kind of usually leave that empty, just because we don't have enough data, generally speaking, to pull from to keep it accurate. So usually we're adjusting on a location, cattle type, and in weight to kind of come up with our numbers, I guess.
You're pulling, your performance data is there based on previous lots. But if you enter different prices for your commodities, that's where they're tied together. You can if you had said put in $150 if.
Yes.
So Carson, on the purchase dollars, if you're trying to figure out what you want to pay for cows, for instance, you can just put different numbers in there to see what comes out.
Yeah, you could do that. I haven't used it like that personally. I've just used it as cattle are coming in. We want to get some information on these cattle, slaughter date, break even. But I imagine you could use it exactly like that if you chose to.
So typically you do it, that purchase dollars is an actual number.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
It's not average.
Yep.
Everything else is average. Drugs and feed yard.
Yes, that's all average from previously closed lots. Yeah.
The feed's a little bit different. That's going to be the only kind of wild card, because that can fluctuate quite a bit. So what we do is we take the total amount of each ingredient and then multiply it by today's current value. So that's where you can manipulate the price a little bit. And
yeah, that's one other spot where I forgot. You're going to want to, before you open up the projections calculator, you just want to make sure that like your purchase dollars, your in dollars, you're going to want to make sure that that is accurate, and that's what you're billed for, just to make sure that you're getting an accurate break even on here. So if I go on the cattle end, this is where I'm talking. You just want to make sure that your weight here and that your price here would match the cattle you bought, I guess. So
like if barley goes on 150, where do you find out how being there?
Yeah, I've never used it that way, like how you were saying, Dad, for the maybe you can walk me through where we would pull that up.
so you're just manipulating the current.
No, there's a spot to enter your projected silage barley. It's just a projected price.
Under truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've got a history of 5 years of barley at $200 a ton. And now this year, the barley's $150 a ton. That information in 5 years back is not.
It's not right.
So what number do you put in the feed column then?
Yeah,
That's
so
what we're going to do.
yeah, so this is the projection price. Yeah, that's exactly it, Chris.
Yeah. So
So you're setting the forward-looking price for your ingredients now.
that's right.
Perfect.
So that's just like you're setting your cost market bill at, and then projection just below.
So you want to project price and you just bill that in?
Yeah. So that would be your projection price for every one of these commodities, or these.
Okay,
If you want, you're not going to want to change them all. You're going to want to change your silage, your grain, your wheat, your.
Well, then you can price that in and then I'll go to the projection.
And that projection price is only used in this calculator. Like it doesn't affect any billing or anything. So
Okay.
it's just a forward-looking price to help you drive more accuracy on the projection calculator.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's only purpose.
What date do you projecting? The date that you're projecting it?
Just today's close.
Yeah.
So whatever you put for a date, it's always going to look forward from that date.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Awesome. Great.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Carson.
Thank you.